April 20th, 1 Kings 21 and 22. 1 Kings 21. And it came to be after these events that Naboth the Israelite had a vineyard which was in Israel, near the place of Ahab, the sovereign of Shamaron. And Ahab spoke to Naboth, saying, Give me your vineyard, and it shall be a vegetable garden for me, since it adjoins my house. And let me give you a better vineyard for it. If it is good in your eyes, let me give you its worth in silver. And Naboth said to Ahab, Far be it from me, by Yah, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers to you. And Ahab went into his house, embittered and displeased, because of the word which Naboth the Israelite had spoken to him when he said, I do not give you the inheritance of my fathers. And he lay down on his bed and turned away his face and did not eat food. And Yizbel, his wife, came to him and said, Why is your spirit so embittered that you are not eating food? And he said to her, Because I spoke to Naboth the Israelite, and said to him, Give me your vineyard for silver, or if you prefer, I give you another vineyard for it. But he answered, I do not give you my vineyard. So Yizbel, his wife, said to him, Do you now rule over Israel? Rise up, eat food, and let your heart be glad. Let me give you the vineyard of Naboth the Israelite. Then she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent the letters to the elders and the nobles who were dwelling in the city of Naboth. And she wrote in the letter, saying, Proclaim a fast, and seat Naboth at the head of the people. And seat 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, You have blasphemed against Elohim the sovereign. Then you shall take him out, and stone him to death. And the men of his city, the elders and nobles, who were inhabitants of his city, did as Isbel had sent to them, as it was written in the letters which she had sent to them. They proclaimed a fast, and seated Naboth at the head of the people. And the men, the sons of Belial, came in and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth has blasphemed Elohim and the sovereign. So they took him outside the city and stoned him with stones, and he died. And they sent to Isbel, saying, Naboth has been stoned and is dead. And it came to be, when Isbel heard that Naboth had been stoned and was dead, that Isbel said to Ahab, Rise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Israelite, which he refused to give you for silver. For Naboth is not alive, but dead. And it came to be, when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose to go down to take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Israelite. And the word of Yah came to Eliyahu the Tishbite, saying, Rise up, go down to meet Ahab the sovereign of Israel, who lives in Shomron. See, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, where he has gone down to take possession of it. And you shall speak to him, saying, Thus said Yah, Have you murdered, and also taken possession? And you shall speak to him, saying, Thus said Yah, in the place where dogs licked the blood of Naboth, the dogs are going to lick your blood, even yours. And Ahab said to Eliyahu, Have you found me, O my enemy? And he answered, I have found you, because you have sold yourself to do evil in the eyes of Yah. See, I am bringing evil on you, and shall consume your descendants, and cut off Ahab from every male in Israel, both those shut up and those left at large. And make your house like the house of Arob, son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, son of Aiah, because of the provocation with which you have provoked me and made Israel sin. And also of Isabel, Yah has spoken, saying, the dogs are going to eat Isabel by the wall of Israel. And the dogs are going to eat whoever belongs to Ahab and dies in the city. And the birds of the heavens are going to eat whoever dies in the field. Indeed, there never was anyone like Ahab, who sold himself to do evil in the eyes of Yah, because Isabel, his wife, stirred him up. And he acted very abominably in following idols, according to all that the Amorites had done, whom Yah dispossessed from before the children of Israel. And it came to be, when Ahab heard these words, that he tore his garments, and put sackcloth on his body, and fasted, and lay in sackcloth, and went softly. And the word of Yah came to Eliyahu the Tishbite, saying, see how Ahab has humbled himself before me. Because he has humbled himself before me, I do not bring the evil in his days, but in the days of his son I bring the evil on his house. 1 Kings 22. And they continued 3 years without fighting between Aram and Israel. And it came to be, in the 3rd year, that Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Judah, came down to the sovereign of Israel. And the sovereign of Israel said to his servants, do you know that Ramoth in Gilead is ours, and we are keeping silent from taking it out of the hand of the sovereign of Aram? And he said to Jehoshaphat, do you go with me to battle at Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said to the sovereign of Israel, I am as you are, my people as your people, my horses as your horses. And Jehoshaphat said to the sovereign of Israel, please first inquire for the word of Yah. And the sovereign of Israel gathered the prophets, about 400 men, and said to them, do I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do I refrain? And they said, go up, for Yah does give it into the hand of the sovereign. And Jehoshaphat said, is there not a prophet of Yah? Is there not here a prophet of Yah besides, that we might inquire of him? And the sovereign of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, there is still one man, Milkiyahu, son of Yimlah, to inquire of Yah by him. But I hate him, because he does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the sovereign say so. So the sovereign of Israel called an officer and said, bring Mikyahu, son of Yimlah, at once. And the sovereign of Israel and Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Judah, were sitting, each on his throne, dressed in their robes, at a threshing floor at the entrance of the gate of Shomron. And all the prophets were prophesying before them. And Tzedakiyah, son of Kenaanah, had made horns of iron for himself, and said, thus said Yah, with these you push the Arameans until they are destroyed. And all the prophets were prophesying so, saying, go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for Yah shall give it into the hand of the sovereign. And the messenger who had gone to call Micaiah spoke to him, saying, see now, the words of the prophets with one mouth are good toward the sovereign. Please let your word be like the word of them, and you shall speak good. And Micaiah said, as Yah lives, whatever Yah says to me, that I speak. And he came to the sovereign, and the sovereign said to him, Micaiah, do we go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or do we refrain? And he answered him, go and prosper, for Yah shall give it into the hand of the sovereign. And the sovereign said to him, "How many times have I made you swear that you do not speak to me except the truth in the name of Yah?" So he said, "I saw all Israel scattered on the mountains, as sheep that have no shepherd." And Yah said, "These have no master." And everyone returned to his house in peace. And the sovereign of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, "Have I not said to you that he would not prophesy good concerning me, but evil?" Then he said, "Therefore hear the word of Yah. I saw Yah sitting on his throne, and all the hosts of the heavens standing by him, on his right and on his left. And Yah said, Who shall entice Ahab to go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And this one said this, and another said that. And a spirit came forward and stood before Yah, and said, Let me entice him. And Yah said to him, In what way? And he said, I shall go out and be a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Entice him, and also prevail. Go out and do so. And now see, Yah has put a spirit of falsehood in the mouth of all these prophets of yours, and Yah has spoken evil concerning you. And Zedekiah, son of Kenana, came near and struck Micaiah on the cheek and said, Where did the spirit of Yah pass over from me to speak to you? And Micaiah said, Look, you shall see on that day when you go into the inner room to hide. And the sovereign of Israel said, Take Micaiah and return him home, and return him to Amon, the governor of the city, and Joash, son of the sovereign, and say, Thus said the sovereign, Put this one in prison, and feed him with bread of affliction and water of affliction until I come in peace. And Micaiah said, If you ever return in peace, Yah has not spoken by me. And he said, Hear all you people. And the sovereign of Israel and Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the sovereign of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, Let me disguise myself and go into battle. But you put on your robes. So the sovereign of Israel disguised himself and went into battle. And the sovereign of Aram had commanded 32 commanders of his chariots, saying, Fight with no one, small or great, but only with the sovereign of Israel. And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, Indeed, it is the sovereign of Israel. So they turned aside to fight against him. And Jehoshaphat cried out. And it came to be, when the commanders of the chariots saw that it was not the sovereign of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. And a man drew a bow in his simplicity and struck the sovereign of Israel between the joints of his armor. And he said to the driver, And he said to the drivers of his chariot, Turn around and take me out of the battle, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day, and the sovereign was propped up in his chariot, facing the Arameans, and died at evening. And the blood ran from the wound to the floor of the chariot. As the sun was going down, a shout passed through the camp, saying, Each to his city, and each to his land. So the sovereign died, and was brought to Shomron, and they buried the sovereign in Shomron. And when the chariot was washed at the pool in Shomron, the dogs licked up his blood, where the whores bathed, according to the word of Yah, which he had spoken. And the rest of the acts of Ahab, and all that he did, and the ivory house which he built, and all the cities that he built, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Israel? So Ahab slept with his fathers, and Yahu, his son, reigned in his place. And Jehoshaphat, son of Asa, began to reign over Judah in the 4th year of Ahab, sovereign of Israel. Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he became sovereign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. Shilhi. And he walked in all the ways of his father Asa. He did not turn aside from them, doing what was right in the eyes of Yah. Only the high places were not taken away, for the people slaughtered and burned incense on the high places. And Jehoshaphat made peace with the sovereign of Israel. And the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, and the might that he showed, and how he fought, are they not written in the book of the annals of the sovereigns of Judah? And the rest of the cult prostitutes who remained in the days of his father Asa, he cleared out from the land. And there was then no sovereign in Edom. A deputy was sovereign. Jehoshaphat made Tarshish ships go to Ophir for gold. However, they did not go, for the ships were wrecked at Etzion Geber. Then Yahu, son of Ahab, said to Jehoshaphat, "Let my servants go with your servants in the ships." But Jehoshaphat would not. So Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father. And Jehoram, his son, reigned in his place. And Yahu, son of Ahab, began to reign over Israel in Shomron in the 17th year of Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Judah, and reigned 2 years over Israel. And did evil in the eyes of Yah, and walked in the way of his father, and in the way of his mother, and in the way of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin, and served Baal, and bowed himself to it, and provoked Yah Elohim of Israel, according to all that his father had done.